What is going down, Niner Empire? It is your boy Danny G, TV in the house. The 49ers travel to Mexico City, and they get the win 38-10 over the Arizona Cardinals in what was a home game for the 49ers in Mexico City. Shout out to all the fans in Mexico City. The 49er faithful travels well, no matter what country it is, no matter what state it is, no matter what city it is. You'll always see a sea of red in the stadiums. And of course, that sea of red was mainly Niner fans because I live in Arizona. The Cardinals don't have that strong of a fan base. They don't travel too well. What a win that was in Mexico City. 38-10. Jimmy Garoppolo threw for 288 yards. He was 20 of 29. He had 4 touchdown passes. He is playing the absolute best football of his career. I knew that when Trey Lance went down week 2, as much of it as it sucked, I knew that we re-signed Jimmy Garoppolo to a restructured 1-year deal with the possibility of incentives, which he's sure going to get right now, baby. I knew that we made the right decision, and I knew that a fully healthy Jimmy Garoppolo this year was going to be a good quarterback, and he was going to do just as much as he needs to do to lead this team to where they want to be. Last year, a lot of fans, including me, were down on him. He was not fully healthy, and he did not have, despite the fact that we did make it to the NFC Championship game, he did not have the best season. He definitely could have improved from last season, which he did. And he's absolutely playing, like I said, he's playing the absolute best football of his career. And not only that, Kyle Shanahan trusts him now. Kyle Shanahan calls plays for Jimmy. He calls passing plays when they're up big that you've not seen in the past from Kyle. You've seen Kyle rely more on his running game and have Jimmy only throw the ball a few times a game. Now Kyle Shanahan trusts Jimmy Garoppolo. He knows that Jimmy's going to put the ball where it needs to go. He's going to have the ball come out on time. You know, you see less of him deciding, he's just going to, take the sack. You'll see him throw the ball away more. You'll see him make smarter decisions because his head's just absolutely in the game. He's got the momentum, and he hasn't thrown a pick in like the last 4 games, is it? Last 3 or 4 games? Or I think it was in the Chiefs game. So it's the last 3 games you've not seen a single turnover from Jimmy Garoppolo. No. Brandon Ayuk with 2 touchdown receptions, and George Kittle with 2 touchdown receptions. So good to see George Kittle doing his thing again. Wow. And I believe with Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle both having 2 touchdown receptions in the game, it is the first time since 2000 when Terrell Owens and Jerry Rice had 2 touchdown receptions in the same game. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it is since 2000, Jerry Rice and T.O. both had 2 touchdown receptions, and now in 2022, George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk with 2 touchdown receptions in the same game. Wow. Deebo Samuel had a touchdown as well, and CMC is playing absolutely lights out. How dynamic is this offense with the addition of CMC, both as a running back and as a receiver who's able to catch those short passes from Jimmy? This offense is so dynamic right now with both Deebo and CMC playing like that. Deebo being a running back and a receiver, and CMC being a running back and a receiver as well. Wow. And the defense, man, oh man. Of course, Tavarius Ward had that pick in the second quarter, and that absolutely killed any momentum that the Cardinals had. It was 7-3 Niners. Colt McCoy playing for the injured Kyler Murray, and the Cardinals were driving, and it got a pass that Colt McCoy threw to James Conner, got tipped out of his hands and into the hands of Tavarius Ward. Tavarius Ward had 9 tackles. Dre Greenlaw had 8 tackles. Fred Warner had, I believe, 5 tackles and a pretty good game as well. Samuel Womack, or I'm sorry, I apologize. That was actually Jimmy Ward. That was Jimmy Ward that had the interception in the second quarter off James Conner, not Javarius Ward. That was Jimmy Ward, of course. The two Wards are great on this Niners defense. It was Javarius Ward that had the 8 tackles, but that was Jimmy Ward that had that pick in the second quarter. I apologize for the mistake, and Samuel Womack at the end of the game had an interception as well. And of course, you saw Nick Bosa pressuring Colt McCoy all game. Although Colt McCoy did do okay, the Cardinals' offensive line did okay protecting him, but the Niners got the win, 38-10 in Mexico City in front of a big crowd of Niner fans. The Niners are now 6-4. They're in first place in the NFC West. They got the tiebreaker over the Seahawks, beating them week 2. The Seahawks are also 6-4, but the Niners are in first place on the tiebreaker. And we got the Saints next week. Then we got the Dolphins. Then we got Then we got the Buccaneers. You got Tom Brady and the Buccaneers after that. So the next game against the Saints is winnable. The game against the Dolphins, the next week, I'm a little scared about that. That's a game we can beat, of course, but the Saints I expect to absolutely demolish at Levi's. The Dolphins game, I expect that game to be a shootout, and then facing Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that's going to be an incredible game. Of course, Brady coming back home to the Bay Area. Looking forward to that one, and then I believe we got the Commanders after that, but what an atmosphere that was in Mexico City. Of course, Kyle Shanahan was pointing out that if we weren't playing in San Francisco, I would love to play here because a lot of Niner players love the Mexico City experience. The international games in the NFL are great this year. Of course, you got this Seahawks-Buccaneers game in Munich. That was the first time we had a game in Munich a couple weeks ago. And now we got the Niners in Mexico City. Of course, we had a lot of games in London as well, like we always do. But what a game that was. The Niners first place in the NFC West, baby. Jimmy G playing great. George Kittle playing great. Brandon Ayuk playing great. The defense playing great. Both Wards, Drake Greenlaw, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner. This team is absolutely unstoppable. Of course, not to forget the big weapon on offense, CMC, Christian McCaffrey, who's making this Niners offense unstoppable, and Debo playing the same way as well, being dynamic as well. Let's go, baby. Niner Empire, one team, one family, one goal. I'm out. Peace!